Hello, hello, hello. Yes. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, we're going to be looking at the Tasty Chips GR-1. This is a granular synthesizer. It's a brand new thing. I think it was a Kickstarter originally, but I think it's now available. Here we go. You can hear it. Let's turn on the stream. Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome. I'm Gaz Williams. Thank you so much. If anyone's watching live, I'm going to be trying to watch the chat room. And we're going to be exploring the Tasty Chips GR1. Now, I should mention, this belongs to my friend Robbie Broniman, and he's just lent it to me, and I haven't really had a look at it at all. So this is really going to be my first look at it. So I thought I'd share that with everybody, and let's sort of investigate it together. I can see the chat room, although there is a slight delay. So if you type something, I might not be able to get to it so soon. Anyway. Okay, so what is the Tasty Chips GR1? Well, it's a sampler, a granular. Well, it's not a sampler, actually. Let's get things straight. Currently, in its current guise, it doesn't sample. It just plays back samples. So you can bring in samples via USB and then, get going that way. Now, I haven't put any samples into it. So the samples I've got so far, the things that we're going to be listening to are basically samples that come pre-installed. Now, bank. So we've got 4 banks of 8. So we could load in all of those samples if we did, if we had our samples already. But I'm just going to use the ones here. Okay, let's have a listen. Cool. So the way granular works is it's taking very, very small sort of grains of the sample and then is allowing you to sort of manipulate them around. And we can look at those various manipulation tools. I think, though, the first thing that we want to look at, though, is this kind of like crossfader thing. What this does is basically it's moving it through the sample. And we can, so it's kind of got performance ability. Now I think it's 12 voice polyphonic. It's nice. Hello everyone in the chat room. Hey Lee, can you share this for me please? Nice to see you there, mate. Jeff, wicked. Yeah, it's nice. Nice to see you guys joining in. Lovely. Really cool. Thank you so much. That's really cool. Okay, so let's have a look at this, what we're doing. Yeah, okay, so now we can see those little blue sort of dots. That's the kind of density. So when I turn a knob, we can see at the top there's like a kind of looks like a knob and a padlock. And what that means is the way the patch has been saved, the parameter's a certain place. So that parameter won't do anything until we pass through the place where it was saved to. There we go. So now I'm reducing the amount of grains, cutting them right down. Okay. Now the graphics here, we've got an ADSR envelope, which is pretty self-explanatory. Right. Yeah, so I have to sweep through the parameter. Let's just take this down. Yeah, we should be hearing virtually nothing now. The organ envelope. And to be expected, little clicks. So, tiny bit of attack and release. Should do away with them. Okay. Now, the second thing that we can see there, that's the actual kind of shape of each of those little grains. Okay, at the moment we're just running very few. In fact, I wonder. Okay, now the rate of those, I think, is governed by right, okay, so spray is how kind of wide it's taking from the sample, and pitch, I guess, is just standard pitch. We'll look at that in a moment. So let's have a look. So we'll start with a really boring thing, and then we'll just expand out from there. Have a little check. Okay, let's have a look here. Hope everyone can hear everything okay. Let me know, please, in the chat room if there's any problems technical. I'm still fairly new to this streaming malarkey, the live thing. Yes, 5 past midnight here in the UK. That's a little bit earlier than some of them I've been making. Okay, so again, I'm just going to sweep these. Okay. So we can hear little clicks there because the sides. All right, okay, so we've got tilt. Now the curve. Okay. So we can make them softer there, putting the sides up. Okay, so it becomes a little bit more like a ramp going down that way, and I guess a ramp going down that way. Oh, yeah, hopefully you can see that okay on the screen there. And the curve. Okay. Right. Yeah, granular synthesis. I still think that this is an area that still holds lots of intrigue, and I know a few conversations I've been having with a few people who are saying they're getting a little bit bored of the subtractive synthesis kind of thing, even though that's amazing. I love it, but this is like it's like a different approach to sound design. I mean, of course, it depends on the samples that you're bringing in. Not entirely sure what's controlling the movement at the moment. We're going to play around. Okay, so I got a pan control here. So I'm panning it all the way. Ah, no, it's like pan spray. Ah, okay. So I'm going to increase the spray. Oh, hang on. Let's have a look. Ah, yeah, scan. So like now you can set it scanning through the waveform, so you can hear the timbre changing as it's scanning through, and actually can reverse the direction. And let's see how fast it can go. So not super fast, but okay, it's a bit more. Let's add some more grains. Ah, it gets more interesting now, doesn't it? How much is it? I think it's around €850, so it's not particularly cheap. It's only a small company. Ah, so the grain size. Actually, I'm going to go back to just the few, just while I'm exploring some more of these controls. Actually, that's center notched handily, that one is. So when, it's almost like a break then when you feel that. And just to recap, I can decide where the center point of the action takes place with this big slider here. Okay, let's have a look. I'm assuming that the movements kind of coming from the LFO. So there's 2 LFOs here. We'll look at those in a moment. There's effects knobs here, which I think are just set to low pass filter. I'm not sure how to change that at the moment. I think it might, yeah, resonance there. I think so, yeah. There's no visual indication there of the filter at all, so. fairly early days for this thing as well, so I'd imagine it is going to develop as time goes by. So Robbie Bronneman, who owns this synthesizer, is a notorious early adopter. Right, okay. So, still not sure what's governing the speed yet. I'm pretty sure it might be answers in the LFO. Let's have a look what's happening in the chat room. Yeah, 849 euros. Thanks, Hayes, for finding that out. Yeah, okay. We're going to change samples in a moment as well, just to keep things interesting. Right. Oh, actually, let's move on to this LFO. Yeah, because I'm not sure what's at the moment governing that, the tempo of that. Okay, I mean, if you're just joining the stream now, I'm deliberately making the sound very simple just to understand the controls, and then I will increase things like the density and this sort of all this kind of interesting stuff. Okay, I'm jumping ahead there though. I'll come back to that stuff. Let's just keep it simple for the moment. Yeah. Let me know where you're from, everybody, please. That'd be nice to see what the spread of things are. I can see Jeff there is in San Diego, I think. It's nice to know people tuning in. Let's have a look here now. So I'm just going to have a look at this. Okay, I'm going to move through this. Right. So LFO 1 is set to tune. LFO 2 is set to the filter cutoff. So let's just again, you have to sweep through the parameters until the padlock goes away, and that's I'm not sure if that's if that can be adjusted. Speaking of configuration, now I think if I hold down Shift and hit Performance, it gets me into a configuration menu, of which there's not a lot there. MIDI channel, LED brightness, potentiometer set points, which is set to on, MIDI CC updates visuals, so I guess that would be for if you're controlling it, well, with CC controllers. Onboard chord toggle mode is on, and USB disk sync as well. Okay, that's all we can see there. There's an escape button on the corner here. I'll press that to go back here. Actually, well, let's just have a little look there. Now, there's 3 modes here: sample, patch, and perform. I'm in performance mode. I think patch is where... Oh, let's have a look now. Whoa, aloha, Hawaii, USA, Austin, wicked, Berlin, stormy, Tennessee. Oh no. We've had some... I mean, gosh, March getting on for, mid-March or beyond mid-March, and we had a big snowfall over the last few days. Just want to mention one thing as well. Went to a gig last night. Fantastic LA band called Knower, Knower, featuring the incredible Lewis Cole on drums. It's kind of his band, him and Genevieve, I think her name is, the singer. But they've expanded with the band. Phenomenal bass player and 2 amazing keyboard players too. It was a really terrific band to see. Highly recommend checking out them. First heard about them when Nick put one of the Lewis Cole does these kind of short little super funky songs. Do you want to ride in my blimp? The blimp song. Oh, it's so cool. Well worth checking out. I went to see him live last night in the snow, playing in Bristol. Very, very good. Anyway, sorry, that was a little aside there. Oh, Brighton. Let's have a look. Haha, someone from Bath, Yorkshire, Illinois, West Lothian, Scotland. Robin. Wonder what the weather's like up there now. Okay, so anyway, let's have a look here. So I'm going to whiz through these LFOs. Aha. Okay, so this is affecting tune. Frequency amount. And then I think, how do I do it now? Oh yeah, I think if I just cycle on this button here. Oh yeah. So cycling this button is going through our different waveforms available for our LFO. So this is like a random. Let's just get the pitch going. A bit crazy. So what we got? Tune. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Waveform, and beneath is the destination button. Yeah. So this LFO is affecting tune. Let's just have a look. So we got ramp up, square, sine, and random. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about the rubbish sound at the moment. We will delve into more interesting stuff once we've just done a basic tour of the functionality here. Okay, destinations, and let's see. I'll leave it on square, and I'll put the... Right, hang on. Destination. Position. Ooh. Let's make this a bit smoother then. So I'm going to make the... let's make it like a sine wave. Okay, so... What? Still not figured out how to change the tempo or the rate at which it's playing. I'm sure we'll discover that in a moment. Just having a look. Dusseldorf. Wow. Heathcliff watching from another dimension. Tokyo. No way. Latvia. Washington. Quebec. Wow. I'm going to see Noah real soon. You're going to love it. They're really cool. Okay, I'm just going to turn this LFO off for the moment. So let's just, oops, playing the wrong controller. I'm going to open the filter back up. Let's get this LFO amount off. Cool. Helt. You ordered yours last year. Still waiting. Yeah, I think they are. I think they're only just rolling them out at the moment. Okay, let's. Yeah, the synth's a bit quiet. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's me messing around. I'm gonna try and make things sound a little bit better in a moment now. Okay, so there's not an awful lot to it in a way. Again, I'm scanning through the waveform here. And remember, the density I've set, so I'm having very few grains. Adding more grains to it now. So, the amplitude envelope is just a standard... What's this now? Voice pitch. I'll have to look into that in a moment as well. Aha. I see. So it's a shift. Okay. If you've just joined, no, I didn't sample the sound in. There isn't currently any way to sample directly into it. I think they're planning on implementing that. Currently, you have to bring in samples via, you can connect it as like a disk to your computer and pass things across. Also, little disclaimer, I just picked this up off my friend Robbie Broniman, who's kindly let me use it for this purpose. And I thought it'd be fun to kind of explore it for the first time on camera, which may be a bit silly because I'm going to probably come a bit unstuck at times. So bear with me because it's going to be a little bit of a voyage of discovery. I'm still using the same sample. And again, I'm only using, I've started adding a bit more density to it now, but... It's velocity sensitive, I think. Yeah, I wonder if there's any control over that. I've got my little BeatStep Pro plugged in, so let's put a sample in, I think. Sorry, a sequence in of some chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. There we go. Cool. That frees my hands up a little bit. Let's have a look what we can do. And changing the shape of the grains here. Scanning. Why not? Let's get some LFO action on the filter. You may be able to notice here as well, we've got two CV inputs, both currently set to tune. I haven't got the CV plugged in, so moving this big fader thing through it. Again, hello to everyone who's joining in. Oh yeah, so I can make it move, can't I, with the scan here? So I'll make it move. Whoa, sorry, it's getting a bit loud there. I'm going to take the LFO off again now. Whoa, sorry. So as it's moving with the scan, you can still move this around. It's running backwards, and then make it move forwards. Something we haven't done yet though is put the maximum amount of density. Let's see what happens. Oh, we've had a little click then. I guess it's going to be now the grain size. Oh yeah. Oh look, so this I can see, it's probably a bit too small to see there, but you can see the grain size. This is around about 300 milliseconds each grain is. What does that go up to? Yeah, I think it's up to a second. So if I was to take the density down, let's stop it from moving. Take the density down even more. Okay. So these grains are much bigger now. Let's shrink the grains down so they're tiny. See how small they'll go. Like down to 100 milliseconds or so, the grains now. Oh yeah, so they're going really short now. Let's play with these things now. Add a little bit more density to it now. This is turning the pan spread up. Oh yeah, the spray control. So the spray is, again, how far, how much of the sample. Anyway, enough of this sample, you're thinking. What happens if I just press the next button and it, with the sequence playing, will it move sweetly to the next one? Let's see. Oh, I haven't heard these samples. Same sequence, different sample. So all of those movements and densities and all the different things like that are saved in the patch. And I mentioned earlier, as I change a parameter, you'll see a padlock appear, which until I've moved the knob through the control, like there on the filter. Okay. Can the LFO control the grain, scan speed and width? Yes, it can. Let's do that then. So, LFO. Okay, let's get this LFO live now. Okay, so this LFO is, let's have a look, the destination, scan speed, let's have a look. So density, cutoff, tune, position, spray, size, density. No, I don't think so actually. Tune, position. Oh, what's happened? There we go. Sorry, turned it off. Slow the LFO down a bit. Increase the depth. So, it's going random. Let's just make that go in. I'm going to put both of these LFOs to sine waves. And then the second one, the first one, spray. Let's have it. So it's changing spray and position now, the LFO. Transpose the sequence. Okay, I'm going to try a new sample. So I'm assuming that if I was to, well, I'll go back to the first one for a minute and then go back. Yeah, so it goes back to the saved state, not like a buffer state. Okay, so you have to save that setting. Is it? Oh, what on earth is this? I'm going to stop the sequence a minute. Let's see what's going on here. Try a different one. Okay, so a little bit more into sound design territory here. Next one. Oh, that sounds cool, doesn't it? Some little clicks, I guess. You just have to dial those out. Oh yes, I think it's an attack thing here. Oh, still getting them. It is always a little bit of a strange thing playing with these grains and stuff, just to get them to density. Let's slide through this. Oh yeah, there we are. Reminds you, yeah, sampler. Yeah, I mean, sampler without an E, sampler. The iOS, the iPad app, is still my all-time favorite iPad app. It's incredible, incredible design. Still is a touchstone for me, really. And yeah, to sort of have like a hardware version of it. It's similar, but it's different for many reasons. But increase the density. Oh yeah. Now you see those little clicks coming in. These samples are preloaded. New sample. Drums. Let's actually, I'm going to put on the arpeggiator for this. The hold in. Now let's see what goes on here. Look, oh, I see. Oh, yes, I can slide this around. I'm going to come back to that one, I think. Okay, back to the sequence. Let's. I'm going to put a new sequence in. Let's think of something nice and sad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Ooh. That sounds quite nice, doesn't it? I did read earlier, I think, what the longest a sample can be. Can't quite remember. Hang on, I got it here. Got some information. What do we want? Information. Well, you won't get it. By hook or by crook, we will. Who are you? You are number 6. Who's number 1? I am number 2. Hang on. Sample, just having a little scoop through here. Nice little thing going on in the background as I'm searching through the information here. Here we go. Oh, cool. So the maximum... Okay, so samples are internally converted to 44.1 16-bit. I guess makes sense. Maximum sample, though, about 10 megabytes, about 2 minutes long. So... pretty cool. Could put like a big chunk of a song in. I wonder what else is in the... I'll show you the menus. The menus are not particularly pretty. I think this display is lovely, but the menus, especially like the loading menus and stuff, they're fairly perfunctory. Okay, let's have a look. Right. There we go. So I'm kind of getting it now. It's probably a little bit difficult to see on the screen, but some things have a little box around them, and that means that it's shift functionality. So I can see here that this controls patch volume if I use shift, and there's a few other things here. So I think, oh look, I see we've got 4 voices. Oh, how does this work then? Shift 2. Not sure. Not sure. Need to look read the manual. That's lovely. That's a really nice kind of granular quality, isn't it, that? Again, once you start messing with stuff, it is quite easy to introduce the dreaded clicks. Sometimes those clicks sound all glitchy and can sound quite cool in certain contexts, but they're reasonably easy to get rid of with the amplitude envelope. It doesn't sample at the moment internally, which is a bit of a shame because that would be super cool. I should have taken a photo of the back of it, really. There's just have a look at what's on the back there. I can't. Let's have a look. I wonder if I can lift it up without. If there's enough lead length here. This might go horribly wrong. I'm not sure if I can. Whoops. Yeah, there's no audio inputs in the back, but I seem to remember actually talking to the guys. I met the guys who've built this, who designed this. Really cool, young guys. Really, yeah, sort of clued in, cool dudes. And I think when you see the thing about the GR-1 lurking somewhere within this box is a Raspberry Pi. And I know some people were a little bit sort of a bit snooty about that, but I thought that was a brilliant idea because, you know, new Raspberry Pis come out and just swap out the main board for more, you know, maybe more polyphony, more functionality, I guess. Maybe being able to handle longer samples, who knows, without it all being like some sort of locked into a proprietary thing. They've done a beautiful job with this interface, though. It is a really enjoyable, you know, the layout's really cool. And the screen, I don't know how well it comes across on the video. It looks really flat. The sort of, you know, it looks, yeah, I mean, it's like the colour of this blue colour matches the blue text and the blue LEDs. You know, it's a really smart design, I think. Embrace the clicks. Nice Brazil. So this is really sweet, isn't it? Ooh. I think that's one of the great things about granular synthesis. It is, you know, it does really warrant exploration. Okay, ooh, been up 40 minutes. I could probably go on not too much longer, so those of you who are desperate for bed, you'll be able to go pretty soon. Okay. So, oh yeah, I was going to show you the menu. Like, yeah, so if I press load and save these buttons now or copy, they pertain to the performance, which would be all of the, I think the performance is it, yeah, like all the samples loaded in. Then patch would be just on a per patch basis, and then sample is where you would actually load the sample in. So if I'm on sample and I go load, it takes me to this And there's a little control here, so I can. Whoa! I'm not sure. Right. Okay. So you can see samples. It's a big bland chain of. Let's have a look. Are there samples inside inside here? Yeah, but you don't get to. So here we go. And I'm assuming now. Oh, excuse me. I'm assuming now by just loading in the sample, then any patch specific parameters from the what it was in that saved patch are probably carrying across, and just the sample has changed. But have a listen to that. Oh yeah, I remember now. The guys were saying, because it's a Raspberry Pi inside there, you've got 4 USB ports on the back, so this thing can act as a USB host. So you can plug keyboards sort of straight into it, you know, via USB, and host them, you know. So if you've got your USB keyboard, like actually this key step, I've not got it plugged in, but I could have it sort of plugged directly in. I'm actually using MIDI DIN. There's MIDI DIN on the back as well. Hooray! Oh, that's a cool sound, that. Nice. Yeah. Oh, I'd love to bring my own samples into this. Maybe I will. I know Robbie's going to want it back pretty sharpish, so that's why I just thought I'd just delve in and just go for this straight away without really any preparation. Yeah. So with it having that Raspberry Pi functionality, I think if you want to sample into it, I think you have to get a class-compliant audio interface. I mean, I'm sure many of you have got them, and plug it in that way. And I think that, well, I don't know if the firmware allows for it, but I think that will be the plan, because there's no actual sockets to sample directly in. But I mean, you know, God, class-compliant audio interfaces are 10 to the dozen now, aren't they? I mean, I've got so many devices around here which would function. Yeah, so you know, providing there's no drivers for it, unless, don't know, maybe possible with the Raspberry Pi, don't know. I also don't know how hackable it is. I'm sure people could hack it. Oh. Murky. So I think it's 12 voice polyphony, so... Ooh, it is interesting. I was sort of wondering, as you add voices... Have to say, Arturia key step is just like a... They've got it so right. This is such a cool little keyboard controller. Can't recommend them enough. You can totally justify them even if you've got tons of keyboard controllers already, because it's so cool. So one of the things you can do in the if I go shift and chord, I can create some chords. Okay, so now I've got these chord, you know, like shift and hold, added a bunch of notes, and now I've got these big chords off just one finger press. I think then you can sequence that chords, I think, yeah, because you can, yeah. Yeah, so any class compliant interface, I think, well, as I say, I'm not sure if it works just yet, but I think that's something coming. Switching samples. So I think it would be great to actually make a sample chain in, say, Ableton Live or whatever, and so you could put some seriously different timbres along, and then, you know, create a little thing, and then bounce it down into a single file. So as you're sweeping through it, it can go through some, you know, all sorts of places. I think that's what I'm going to do with it when I get a chance. Ah! How do you store a library of samples? I think the internal storage of this, I don't know how much storage there is inside it, but there is internal storage. There is so I think like a performance can hold, 32, I think. 32 samples, I think. I got some specifications here. So maximum is 128 grains per voice, 16 voice polyphony, standalone or MIDI controllable, MIDI in, blah blah blah. Just looking what else is interesting. Yeah, the GR-1 can handle 32 sample files of 10 megabytes long. Oh, no, it can handle 32 sample files of 10 megabytes. So, yeah, reasonable. Internal flash. This is what we wanted to find out. 4 gigabytes of internal storage. So, I mean, that's quite a lot, actually, because these samples aren't particularly long, and each one, as we've been discovering, can do a whole host of things. I'm just looking what else is interesting here. Ability to read and write any USB stick drive, FAT, exFAT, NTFS, HFS plus. That's cool. So, you know, USB stick. Yeah, because, like, in a way, I mean, yeah, sampling into it would be really nice. But, like I mentioned, creating a sample chains within your DAW, and then just saving them onto a USB stick. Yeah, that seems pretty cool. And I'm guessing you just sort of copy them from the stick into the internal drive, or leave the stick stuck in the back. You know, there's 4 USB slots in the back there anyway. So, yeah, pretty cool. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm gonna wrap up in a moment now. Just maybe I'll go to 1 more minute, and then. But just want to say thank you, everybody, for joining in, and for comments and that and the like. Really cool. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Before I go, is there any questions or anything anyone would like me to do before I finish, please? I'm wondering if they're going to add more effects. Let me just have a look in the manual under effects, whether that just seems to be filter at the moment, but just having a quick look. Can't seem to see anything just other than that at the moment. Okay. As I say, I'm assuming that it's yeah, the RRP of this I think is about €849, so it's not particularly cheap. As I say, it's a very small company. It's all, quite a lot, bespoke case and very, so I'd imagine that they're not particularly cheap to make. I mean, people, when they learnt there was Raspberry Pi inside it, felt that seemed a bit on the cheap. But hey, why on earth not? I think I'm really into this idea of these embedded, being able to do that, because it means that they can really concentrate on making this very cool bespoke thing. Cool. Whoa. God. That seemed to sort of tax it out a little bit. I don't know if it is, or if it's just... it's something to do with the LFO, I think, on there. How do the sliders and buttons feel? So there's two LFOs with a bunch of destinations: size, density, cutoff, tune, position, and spray. Size, that's it. And sine wave, random, ramp up, square, and sine. So they're the different shapes. So we've got this control here, which governs the shape of each of the grains, an amplitude envelope. There's a few things here I haven't quite figured out, but also we can make it scan forward. Oof, I was doing something nasty. Any lead sounds? Been hearing nothing but pads. Sounds sketchy. I think it'll sound whatever you put into it, really. I mean, so this is not really a pad, is it? But I think granular really does lend itself to really nice pads, but also sound design stuff it's pretty cool for as well. Just a disclaimer here, I've only just plugged it in pretty much, I have only just plugged it in for the first time this evening, literally before I went live. I literally plugged it in, put the MIDI in, made sure a few things worked, and have just literally explored it for the first time here. So thank you everybody for joining me on this little journey. I'm sure there'll be some much more skilled people coming online to demonstrate it in more detail, but for now I thought it might just be fun whilst it's kind of early days to see what it's like. Questions? Any more questions? Lead sounds. You could, as I say, you could put anything into it. It is more about, like, granular is a kind of world into itself. That's like some sort of timpani roll. You see, now that's kind of an interesting... Let's get out little clicks, tiny little clicks. Okay, so I think there we go. Okay, thank you everyone again. I'm gonna sign off now. Tasty Chips Electronics, the GR-1 granular synthesizer. I think there's a little bit of a waiting list on it because, as I say, there's only a very small company. I think it was a Kickstarter, so I think they're still just finishing that Kickstarter, fulfilling all the Kickstarter orders. I'm not sure how long it'll take for them to be shipping just regularly. But with any luck, small little company, hopefully they'll do quite well with this. Very promising. I'm loving it. I think it's really cool. This is my first time with it, literally 55 minutes with it. So I want to yeah, I definitely want to bring some samples in. As I say, I'm going to make some sample chains. Robbie is going to want it back ASAP, so I might have to get it off him again. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed this. Hey, prognosis, so much left to learn, is in the chat room. Just joined in. Yeah, I'm just finishing off, sorry, because I've just been, I guess I could go up to the hour, but yeah, we're just having a little, I've literally just plugged it in for the first time, just been sort of figuring it out really with company. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it, to do it with some company. You know, the old synth thing can be a lonely old thing, although that's part of the appeal as well. Prognosis. Love that theme. Yeah. So, yeah. I guess it's one of those things, isn't it? You know, you could just load it with drum samples and you could kind of use it as like a drum manipulator. You could load it full of just like found sound stuff. That would be cool, I think. Just also conversation. I haven't heard any samples of any words, and you know, just chopping up speeches. What's here? Yeah. Okay, just checking the comments again. Peace and love, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. It's yeah, it's a real pleasure to be able to share these moments with you all. And yeah, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you again. And yeah, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's coming up to 1 o'clock now, so I probably should go to bed. Okay, bye bye, everybody. Thanks.